Hello, sewing enthusiasts, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now, in the part one of this video, we talked and looked at how to draft and cut this beautiful top on paper and on a fabric. So, this is the part two of the video. We are going to be learning how to sew this pretty top mainly. So, let's get into the video. So I went ahead to iron stay on every piece of the fabric and also went ahead to cut out lining pieces and iron stay on the lining also. Then for the center front and the side panel of the center front, I ironed wording to it, and I also went ahead to pin them together, and I'm just going to sew them together. Now I pinned all the rest too, the lining, the back and everything. I pinned them out so I can sew them together. That's the back there, that's the neckline pinned together, and I'm just going to head over to my sewing machine and sew everything out. Now after sewing everything out, I used my iron to press the seams open so that it can be clean and our work will be easy to do when sewing it. So I pressed the seams open both on the lining, the fabric and everything. Now I used my tailor ham to iron this bust part out so that it can have the bust shape, like give us the breast shape there. But do not iron this flat because it's going to come out flat. You're not going to get the shape you want. So I use it to iron the bust part both for the lining and for the fabric. Now you can see how clean everything is looking after ironing and how everything is staying nice. Now I'm just going to pin the upper part of the front and the lower part of the front together. I'm going to pin everything around and head over to my sewing machine and sew everything out on both on the fabric and the lining for the front. So I'm just going to pin everything out gently. Take your time to pin this, and after, just sew everything out. This is what it's looking like after I've pinned it, both for the lining and the fabric. Now I'm just going to sew everything out. After sewing it, I notched everything round so that all those copy parts can relax. Then I went over to join the sides, that's the back and the front together at the side. Then I did the same thing for the lining, and I also pinned them together. So that's the side that I joined together. I sewed that side together, and this is how I pinned the lining and the fabric. So I started from the center front because it's going to be closed. We are going to be having an eyelet there. So I pinned it starting from the center front to the armhole. I did not close up the armhole. That part that is open, I did not close it up. I just left it. Then I continued again to the other armhole. Then I stopped. I took it again from the other armhole to the center front, stopped at the other armhole. I did not close up that part and started from the other armhole, took it again. Just follow my hand direction. Explaining it is kind of weird. So after sewing everything together, I went ahead to notch everything so that they can relax. So I notched everything. I cut out the excess at the side so that when folding it, it will bring out the shape. Then I just notched everything and cut out the excess so that it will not give us problem when turning it. Just follow what I'm doing so you don't do any mistake or miss out on it. So I'm just going to notch everything round except the parts we did not sew. So I'm going to notch everything round so as to ease it. Please, if you are enjoying this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit the post notification bell down below so that you don't miss out on any video I post again, and make sure you like, subscribe, share and comment down below if there are some other things you feel I should add to the video or some other things you do not understand. So just take your time notching it. It can be kind of stressful, but yeah, it's totally worth it when you're done. So yeah, I'm just going to notch everything to the very end. Be careful when notching it. Do not cut through the seams because that's going to give you problem. But do not cut through the seams. Just carefully do it. After that is done, I'm just going to turn it over. Flipping it over is not the easiest thing, so just take your time, honestly. So just carefully flip everything over. Take your time to flip it over. Then after flipping it over, going to I'm going to head over to the ironing board, then press everything in, iron it thoroughly to make sure that the lining is not picking at the fabric part. So I'm going to make sure the lining sits in well. I'm just going to take my time to iron it. So after ironing everything flat, I am going to top stitch on every part that we've sewn in. You can even top stitch on the part we did not sew. That's the shoulder line. You can top stitch on it because we're going to be sewing straps to it, so it does not matter since it's out now. And I'm just going to top stitch on everything. Well, after top stitching, this is what it looks like. I make sure that I top stitch very closely to the edge of the fabric. Don't worry if yours is not like at the edge, although if it's looking nice then that's fine, but mine is closer to the edge, like very close. Then you can also iron it again if you like, but now I am going to take this long strap that we cut in the beginning. I just folded one part in and the other part to join it together like that. Then I'm going to close it up and sew it all the way through. That's going to be our strap for the lacing part. I'm just going to fold it like that, like in a bias form. Then after sewing it all through, this is what it looks like. It came out really nice than I expected. So yeah, that was all for the strap. Then I went ahead to measure 3/4 of an inch at that side also. Then stitch it down for the eyelet case. Then I pinned down the down part to make it intact so that we can use the fabric to pipe it up. So I also went ahead to cut two strips of like 4 inches wide, then the length is about 12 inches, 12 to 13 inches. Then I just cut that out and sew it, then turn it over to the right side. Then that's for the piping. The piping I used 2 inches for it, then folded it like we folded the lacing strap. Then I just folded it together, then use it to cover up the end like this. This process is not the easiest, honestly, but just take your time to pin everything down so that it can come out nice. So yeah, after sewing it out, this is what it looks like. It is looking nice. The dress is starting to come together. So that's what it looks like. It's very clean and I like the outcome. So on the strap, I just went ahead to sew 1/4 of an inch on both sides, leaving like at least 3/4 of an inch at the middle part. So I went to cut out two strips of elastic, which is 8 inches long, and the width is half inch. This is an half-inch elastic. So I just went ahead to put my uh office pin. Is it office pin or safety pin? I think office pin. Then I pinned it together and pass it through the middle part. Just take your time passing it through because the fabric I was using when I was passing it through, I had a very hard time passing it through. But if you are using like a less strong fabric or less thick fabric, I don't think you have any problem passing this through easily. So you just pass through the channel, then pass it through carefully. Just take your time, and when you reach a certain point, you are going to just pin the elastic down to the fabric at the end so that it does not move when you are passing it through. Because if you do not pin it down and you keep on like that, your effort is just going to be wasted. You are doing nothing. So you just pin it down, then pass it through. After passing it through both of the straps, this is what is looking like. So I just went ahead to zigzag stitch the ends of both of the straps so that it stays in place. So I went ahead to bring the top, then I pinned it to both of the shoulder for the handle. So for this project, I actually wanted to use like square rings, like the type they use in bags, for the front part, because I thought it was going to be really good. But I only had D-ring with me, and I noticed that the strap was too big to fit in. But if you have and you really want to use it, you can also use that. I think it would be really pretty if you use that. But this result is not that bad. So I just pinned everything down, and after pinning it down, I went ahead to sew all the straps to the shoulder. Then after that is done, we're moving on to the lacing part of this video, because we're almost done. Wow. So I'm just going to need my plier, hammer, nail and scissors for this part, because I don't have an eyelet machine. So this was the other alternative I have. I actually bought one stupid machine like that. It was totally useless. I don't know the use of it. So now I'm just taking my nail and I'm going to hammer it down on the plier on where I marked the eyelet to be. So just put the nail on the fabric and on top of the plier and just hammer it down on where you've marked the eyelet to be for the lacing. Now I'm just going to push my nail through it to make sure that it's free enough, then take my scissors to enlarging it. So make sure that the hole is not too big, because if it is bigger than the eyelet, it's going to be a problem. So just always measure it out as you're cutting it. You can use your eyes to bicep it if it is enough. So, and if you don't know if the hole is big enough, you can always just put your eyelets there and check it. But when you're sure it's enough, just push it through. Make sure that the the part that is open is on the wrong side of your fabric, and that's the lining part. Make sure that the closed part is on your fabric, but the part that you're going to be closing up is on the inner part. Then after that's done, I'm just going to take the cover of the highlight. I'm going to take the cover of the highlight and put it over it. I'm making sure I press it very well, and then take the cover, put it over it. Make sure that it's like the part that is bending inward that you are using to cover the eyelid, because if it's in the other way around, it won't work. So I'm just going to put that on top. Make sure that everything is well set. Guys, take your time, but if you have an eyelid machine, you can go ahead and use it, but I don't have. So if you have, you can just go ahead and use that instead. Then after making sure everything is in place and looks okay, I'm just going to take my hammer. You can see how it's looking. I'm going to take my hammer then press the sides a little bit. After that, I'm going to hammer it in. Sometimes when you are hammering it in, it can be moving away, but just make sure that you reset it and you hammer it properly. That's it. Then you put it back and make sure that you hammer it properly. Guys, don't be discouraged if things don't turn out perfectly the first time. Each project is an opportunity to learn and grow. Feel free to add your personal touch experience with different fabrics or modify the design to suit your taste. Possibilities are endless, like is endless. Different ideas. Well, thank you so much for joining me today on this my journey. I'm incredibly excited to embark on this sewing journey with all of you. Make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming tutorial or video or DIY. Also, let me know in the comments what other swimming project or technique you would like to learn in the future. Until next time, happy sewing. Thank you for joining me today and thank you for watching to the very end. I love you so much. Bye.